2023, if we go by a historical point of view, 95% of women would be whores. However, we are in 2023, so we got to adapt to the time. And welcome to my whiteboard videos. Today, I am going to go over the hierarchy of whoredom. Before I start,
Hierarchy of whoredom.
Subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. That way you're going to be notified of my daily videos. So, this last week, I decided that I wanted to know more about whores, sluts, hoes, nice ladies, and
I forgot to add one. Sorry.
ladies and wifey material.
When men have sex, there's the emotional side and the physical side. Men can compartmentalize. They can separate the emotion from the physical. So they can have sex with as many women as they want, and they won't have psychological damage. It won't affect them. Because men can compartmentalize sex. So they can just consistently have that physical element. When a woman has sex, and she tries to separate that emotional element from the sex, she cannot do it without suffering psychological damage.
Myself on the spot. But, you know, a slut, you know, if I was just to think about it logically, is just a woman that goes and sleeps around for the sake of it. Like, you know, no emotional connection, just literally sleeping around. And, you know, if you speak to most women, I think 70% of women don't even orgasm during sex. So the fact that these girls are just doing it and they don't even get the end from it, you know, it just kind of makes it even pointless. Okay, so everyone's heard of Fresh and Fit, everyone's heard of JustPearl. I was watching Fresh and Fit the other night, and JustPearl came out with this board in terms of showing the desirability of women based on their circumstances. I'll let the data analyst explain that a little bit better.
Okay, so what we got now? We need to look at it realistically. Now, if anyone doesn't know, JustPearl is one of the biggest, basically, podcasts when it comes to dating and pertaining to obviously female nature. She's obviously heavily one-sided. She's sided with the men, so she's actually calling out women for their shenanigans, and she's doing it at a very ferocious level. It's upsetting a lot of women, obviously, and it's gaining a lot of male attention. Now, is this a good thing or is it a bad thing for like men in general if they want to know about female nature? We don't know yet, but what we do know is her statements and her rhetoric is backed up by one of the biggest podcasts in the world pertaining to dating, which is the Fresh and Fit. Fresh and Fit has got the Myron, who pretty much, in my eyes, is the number one, red pill speaker. He's on the top. He's very articulate. He understands women. He's sharp. He's emotionalist when it comes to delivering his points, so he doesn't get caught up that much. He's supported by Fresh, and these guys are heavily endorsing JustPearl's rhetoric. So what's JustPearl's rhetoric? What is she saying? What is young guys now, what are they listening to? What are they being directed at to pay attention to? So don't take my advice. I reckon we should watch it ourselves, and then you can make a decision, and we're going to comment on what JustPearl's rhetoric is.
Okay, so this is just basically showing, she's got a little chalkboard, she's just basically showing what she thinks men want and what men desire least. So let's switch over real quick and see what won. Okay, JustPearl, take it over.
And welcome to my whiteboard videos. Today, I am going to go over the hierarchy of whoredom. Before I start,
Hierarchy of whoredom.
Subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. That way you're going to be notified of my daily videos. So, this last week, I decided that I wanted to know more about whores, sluts, hoes, nice ladies, and
I forgot to add one. Sorry.
ladies and wifey material. So, this week we did a show where we really wanted to define the terms, because a lot of men out there cannot define what's a whore, what's a slut, what's a hoe. A lot of the women, it's like, what is this? And I'd like to tell you guys, in 2023, if we go by a historical point of view, 95% of women would be whores. However, we are in 2023, so we got to adapt to the time. So I surveyed some men.
Before she starts this, let's pause
the
this a second.
definition that we came up with was, in 2020.
Pause that real quick before she starts this.
Yeah, she's done a lot of triggering stuff.
Before she goes into it, I'm gonna throw it over to you, dating analyst.
Switch cameras. Yeah, go on.
I'm gonna throw it over to you. Okay, so we're just gonna go over. Okay, so we're just gonna go over. She's gonna go into her categories now.
Yeah.
So she said she's got whore at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Slut, and then what was the other one?
She has whore, hoe, and then slut.
Whore, hoe, and slut. Okay, she had it whore, hoe, and slut.
Yeah.
Okay, so break down what differentiates these categories.
I'll tell you the truth. There's no differentiating derogatory terms when we're talking about whore, hoe, slut. You know, they basically it's just a term to use to actually demonize and belittle women. So
And trigger them as well.
and trigger them is a triggering word. You know, I mean, it's the same thing to say what's the difference between nigger and negro, right? They're both aimed at to deliver a certain message. So whore, hoe, slut is depending on how angry the person is when they're delivering these insult to the person, depending which one of them three they will choose from. But in terms of how they act, we all know what that means. It means that a woman is sexually available to anyone and she has no value, no moral grounds. And anyone who has sex with her, she just has sex with them. And everyone knows it as well. So it's not just that she has sex with these people, it's that the people are talking and the message is going around like, oh, that girl's a slut, she sleeps with anyone. So that's the damaging part of it. But in terms of the words, I would say all three of them land the same. Whore, hoe, slut. I don't think they're talking about a whore, which is actually a woman paying for sex. I don't think she means it in that way. I know that's the definition of it. A slut pretty much is the same thing. And a hoe is a hoe. Hoe on the street is that they all correlate, basically.
Mm-hmm. So basically, it looks like, very simply, that she's chose 3 really triggering words to get a reaction, which she's got.
Yeah.
Now everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
When the first thing and you know what girls are like, women are like, the moment they see whore, slut, hoe, their defenses is gonna come up. Their back's gonna come straight up.
Yeah.
I'm not a hoe, I'm not a slut. I'm an independent woman or I'm whatever. I won't jump into that. But let's finish up what she says.
Yeah, it's just going to be interesting already. She did get to trigger some people.
If we go by a historical point of view, 95% of women would be whores. However, we are in 2023, so we got to adapt to the times. So I surveyed some men to see what they thought. The definition that we came up with was a whore is someone that has sex for money or does slutty things for money. A slut is someone who does it for sex, and a hoe is someone that does it for attention. So we went through some scenarios as a class. A whore is an OnlyFans worker, a stripper, a hooker, or an escort. I think I spelled escort wrong.
That's
wrong,
me.
but never mind that.
Pause.
Slut is a woman.
Real quick, who would raise your hand and say that's them for the whole part?
Okay.
Don't lie.
I'm honestly.
Oh, damn, she put her hand up, said she's a whore.
Okay.
Hey, somebody online in here, man. All right, cool.
Well, this
Continue.
Wow.
And cheats on her boyfriend one night stands. Because what's she doing it for? Next, we have a hoe. Now, this is a girl, ass pics on the gram, okay? Or 15 plus bodies. Now, okay, guys, there's been a lot of dispute. Some guys
15
are saying,
plus
no,
body
it's
makes you a hoe.
way less
Wow.
than that.
What if you're one and not
I just
the other?
ask the people. I just report the news. Let me know if there's anything else we should add to the
Pause real
top
quick, pause
3.
real quick.
But that's what we got.
Do you guys agree that 15 plus is
All right, well. So there she defined it. The whore, slut, and a hoe. I'm not gonna lie, right? It is very. I mean, for women watching this, it's like, wow, how can a woman be supporting this cause? However, for the men, it's good for the younger generation of men to understand these definitions because I really think she encapsulates it very well. To tell you the truth, a whore obviously is someone that's getting paid to have sex, so they don't care about connection, they don't care about love. If you pay them, they'll have sex with you. It's transactional. And then she goes on to say OnlyFans are a whore because they do the same, and strippers are a whore because their only currency is money, so it's transactional. That was quite a good definition of that. She said a slut is someone that cheats on their man for sex, so they like the sex, like almost like a nympho. You know, they want happiness, they want companionship. However, they go out and they like having the attention outside. and they do it for the sex. They do it for the money. They're doing it for the sex. They're just the slut. I think that's an accurate description of a slut. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm trying to disagree with her, but that's true. And then she says a hoe is someone that cheats on their man. And again, you know, she's got no value. She's got no moral. She pretends to her man that she's a good girl and she doesn't do these things. And behind her man's back, she sleeps with other men for the pleasure of having sex. And she's saying that's the definition of a hoe. I can't disagree so far. I think she's bringing it round. I couldn't. So far, the three definitions are quite accurate from a men's perspective, anyway.
Okay, so I'm gonna say the whore part. So basically, she labels anyone that does sex work, basically, whether that's sleeping with men, making solo videos on their own, or stripping, dancing in a nightclub or something like that, and stripping. You know, and although stripping has, I'll start with the stripping first. Although stripping has like a very negative sort of like, you know, reputation, like, you know, you think the girls all getting like, you know, having sex off air and up behind the stage for money and shit like that. Some of them do. I'm not gonna lie, I know girls that do that, and some of them do that. So maybe they fit nicely where they are. But OnlyFans, I got to jump on that a little bit, like, because I think you can't call an OnlyFans girl a whore because like most OnlyFans girls are making videos by themselves or with their partner, with their lifelong partner. An issue that falls from that is some guys tend to, and this goes to all the girls that would be classed as a whore up there. There's a lot of guys that see beautiful women and say, yeah, that's a hot piece of ass, I want to bang that. But you can't just go up to a girl and say you're a hot piece of ass and bang that. So what do these guys do? You're my wifey, you're my bestie, you're gonna be my little side piece or whatever. Or they might not even have the confidence to say that. They might even full on sell them a lie, wifey them up, and then, you know, the girls are thinking that they're in love, and the guy's beating them, and then obviously, as soon as the guy's finished getting what he got, it's done, and then that sort of puts the girls in a situation where they're making videos with different guys, and then another guy comes in, then another guy comes in. But I mean, I think it's harsh. Obviously, these are all triggering words. Yeah, you know, they're all triggering words. But the OnlyFans thing, I think, nah, I wouldn't class an OnlyFans girl as a whore. The sluts, girls that sleep around, I would say, I don't really like to put myself on the spot, but you know, a slut, you know, if I was just to think about it logically, is just a woman that goes and sleeps around for the sake of it. Like, you know, no emotional connection, just literally sleeping around. And, you know, if you speak to most women, I think 70% of women don't even orgasm during sex. So the fact that these girls are just doing it and they don't even get the end from it, you know, it just kind of makes it even pointless. It's like it's like they're just trying to chase love almost. Because a lot, you know, women, you probably be able to explain that a little, but women, some women think of sex as love, like, you know, they think that they're receiving love when they're receiving sex. Some women just like that, you know, and they have to do it with loads of different men because one guy might be the date guy that just takes her for a nice date. One guy might be you know, like exciting guy that takes her for nights out and parties and shit like that. So and then it's just getting that different energy from all different types of men, you know. And I think obviously that's definitely it. Hoe is just a girl that's just mad. So what do you think?
I want to jump in there. Yeah, like you said. About the women that are sleeping around for the connection and love, that there is a psychological element there that fundamentally gets missed, where women are not really aware of this. So I'm just going to point it out, and then people can like it or have a look at it, tell me what you think. So the problem is, and it's happening a lot with women, is men and women are different. When it comes to sex, unfortunately, we are different. And I'm going to tell you why we're different. Because men can compartmentalize sex. That means when we have sex, it's called intimacy. There's the physical element and then the emotional element involved, right? That's the intimacy. Physical element and emotional element, yeah? When women give themselves to someone and they have sex with them, they're giving themselves the physical element and the emotional element, right? Women cannot separate the emotional element from sex. Right, they really can't. They try their best, but the more they do it, they can't. They say they can separate it. But
what about if they're getting paid to have sex?
What do you mean you get paid to have sex?
Like, so you said that they can't separate the emotional side of it. A woman that's just sleeping with a guy for a job, for instance, like, is she giving emotional sort of energy towards that guy? Because, you know, a lot of women will say, that work and sleep with men for money, they'll say, this is just business for me. I'm just trying to make my money.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Well, that I was gonna close the point, but
Okay.
you just emphasized my point.
Oh, okay.
So women can't emotionally separate the emotional side to the physical side without suffering psychological damage, heavily psychological damage. Now, let me just repeat that. When men have sex, there's the emotional side and the physical side. Men can compartmentalize. They can separate the emotion from the physical. So they can have sex with as many women as they want, and they won't have psychological damage. It won't affect them. Because men can compartmentalize sex. So they can just consistently have that physical element. When a woman has sex, and she tries to separate that emotional element from the sex, she cannot do it without suffering psychological damage. Hence why you say these escorts are having sex and they're having it for money, is because they are suffering psychological damage, which is causing them to continue to repeat that cycle of doing it because there's psychological damage. Now, the psychological damage, there's a spectrum of it. And I think when you're talking about women are getting paid for it, they're getting financially rewarded for it, that sort of damage is at the top of the scale. But when we're talking about normal girls sleeping around, thinking that they could try to separate their emotions to the physical, they suffer psychological damage and they find themselves doing it again. Because they're in a trap. And the extent of the damage will only actually appear when they try to settle down with someone. And after they've been running around having sex with all these people and they're feeling worthless, they feel their body is just an object, it's not sacred to them, right? And when men know that women that don't make their body sacred to them, and they don't screen their vetting partners, men don't want them, they're less attractive. They're basically seen as, like Pearl said, hoes or sluts or something of that nature. So women, if you're having sex and you're trying to separate the emotional part of it, it's very hard for women. Women try to do that, but from the studies, it's like women can't separate the emotion from the physical without suffering psychological damage. So that's the difference between men having sex and separating the physical from the emotional, because we can compartmentalize sex, right? Women don't understand that. Women don't understand a man can sleep with a girl for 5 years. 5 years sleep with her and like her and love her, and then someone can ask him, would that be your girl? And he'll be like, no, she's too ugly to be my girl. Women don't understand. How can you sleep with someone for like 3 years, 5 years, being around them, chilling with them, but you don't want to make them your girl? Because men can compartmentalize that. We're built different. Women can't really do that.
Is that more of because I hear this argument quite a lot, but what you said just there though, in terms of like a guy sleeping with a girl for 5 years off and on, whatever, like that, that's got to be like that's got to be a weird situation, because like, growing up as you do sometimes, we're all 40 years old. I've been through my times, and there's always a saying, can you turn a wife into a hoe and all this sort of stuff, like, but I ain't gonna lie. I don't know whether it's just me. If I'm beating a chick for a certain amount of time, like it might just be me, because when I was younger, if I had 5 girls, I used to say to those girls, it's just me or bye. But I used to tell them, look, I got 5 other girlfriends, and if you want to be part of it, it's all good. But if you sleep with another guy, it's over straight away, sort of thing. I would be very defensive over that sort of stuff. Like, so like if this girl I'm beating on the side, and like I phone her up to go see her or whatever, and I can't see her because she's with someone else at that time, that's like instant cut, and that will hurt. That will hurt. There'll be emotional hurt to that, even if it's a hoe. Even if it's a hoe. That will get hurt. So sometimes these, like, I'm hearing a lot of guys say they can go out, beat as many chicks as they want, and feel no emotional bits to them. You phone that girl up one night. And everyone gets it. Every player gets it. Every player gets it. Yeah. Every player gets it.
It's not an emotion. It's an emotional hit with the ego.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh my goodness, I was gonna wifey her. I was gonna make her the one. I was gonna run away and marry that one. No. For guys, we're like, oh, that was an ego hit. I liked having that on the roster. She was cool, but she violated. You're gonna have to get punishment, or cut her
That's
off.
mad ego violated,
Ego violation. So that's the point that I was going to say. So I feel sorry for the category that she said, that women that have the slut, that women that have sex for the sake of liking sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the element there of psychological damage that takes place with them women. That's why they repeat the cycle. and they should go to a sex therapist or some sort of therapist to identify it, because these women don't know that they're in this trap until they're one-on-one with a sex therapist or some sort of therapist that understands the nature of this, and they can see the actual patterns. Normally, triggering patterns of alcohol, these are triggers. They go out. The environment's a trigger. The lust of a new person liking them. It's like reading a new book. You know, you finish a book and you want to read a new one. That's how the women feel.
Small hits of dopamine, then, yeah.
Small hits of dopamine, instant gratification, and it reinforces the slut mode of the emotions. Because the girl thinks, okay, I have sex with him, I'm gonna separate my emotions. But when they have sex, they don't separate the emotions. And then when the guy cuts them off, the pain hits harder. And then to get over that pain, what she has to do is go out
another guy who does the same thing, and they find themselves in a loop. And this is a psychological phenomenon that's happening. I could talk more about that.
Yeah,
later,
we jumped over.
Yeah, we jumped a lot.
We jumped a lot.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what this is about, guys.
That's
Free
what it's
chats,
about, yeah.
chill vibe chats.
It's about education, guys.
I'm not going to listen to their whole thing. Oh, shit.
Got to share the screen.
Some people can't find love. So
Let's just watch this and see if we can edit any bits out.
And sometimes, yeah. So
not
depending
dating.
as you
You
get
forward
older,
it to me.
it adds up because you're not gonna.
So
Because
what
if you're
age?
dating, you're not gonna have sex with the same
forward-
person all the
did you
time
forward
because
it
you
to
might
you?
not end up
with like
that person. I'm saying like you could tell me that if
you're dating multiple people and not about
You think it is?
it is.
well,
Wait, I have-
sex
Body, okay.
twice.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Was that
Right.
Through one night
There we
stands. So no one night stands. You can only have gotten the bodies. Maybe you got ghosted, took an L, but you could still be a lady. You have 5 to 14 bodies. Now let's define a nice lady. 0 to 5 bodies is a nice lady. And wifey is a virgin, is wife material. So now that we have some definition, what I wanted to do was I wanted to make a hierarchy of whoredom. Now,
Get ready, ladies. This is going to be upsetting for a lot of women. So
Hierarchy of whoredom, you know?
ladies? All right. So here we have the least desirable. Here we have the most desirable and most rare. So what is going to go on the least desirable level in terms of sluttiness? This is the hierarchy of whoredom. All right. So
Hierarchy
at
of
the
whoredom.
bottom we have